also know that you have your own concept, the Schranner concept that you came up with. Walk us through a little bit. How does one like you, and then we're trying to break it down, someone like me, prepare for negotiations?
Okay, there are four main elements. Number one, in our concept, what we see in almost every negotiation, that our clients are over-prepared.
Over-prepared?
Definitely. Yeah, always. 99% are over-prepared.
Oh, okay.
They're over-prepared. They negotiate with themselves, not with the other party.
How does that look like? Give me an example.
A lot of internal discussions. And then the discussions are, so should we ask for, let's say, 10% more? And there's always someone, well, I think that's too risky. Let's ask for 5. And then there's someone, well, keeping or going on with 2% is also fine. So they reduce their own limits or their own targets by internal discussions. And I think what most of people, most of them, what they do, they negotiate with themselves before they address the conflict. And this is, by the way, very often in negotiations for women. This is what I have learned, that they are very often negotiating with themselves, convincing them we don't need to negotiate anymore. And this is what I have learned. Most people, most organizations are over-prepared from a content perspective, not from a strategic and tactical perspective. So you shouldn't be over-prepared. You need to know what you want. However, you don't need to know what they want. This is part of the negotiation. It's not part of the guessing game before you start the negotiation.
So if I want to, I don't know, 10, 15% salary raise, I shouldn't be asking myself, ooh, if I do this, probably they're going to fire me or they're not going to like me or I mean, whatever, right? But no, I said, I want this. And how do I get there? Or how does that work?
Exactly. I want 15%. And then you think about, how do I get there? You think about your strategy, you talk about the tactical steps. However, you don't try to convince yourself that you don't have to address the conflict. And this is what we see very often.
And I know you have that, you say you're putting the fish on the table. Is the fish on the table, is that my 15% and here I am and now let's start? And how do I prepare if I am not allowed to over-prepare?
That's element number 2, it's the opening. There are 2 philosophies in negotiation. Number 1 is low-hanging fruits first. So you talk about the easy stuff. Big advantage, you have a good atmosphere. However, at the end, it's take it or leave it, because you talked about everything before. The other one is, as you said, it's put the fish on the table. So if you want something, you have to say it. And this is in our concept. We say what we want in a very nice, in a very polite, in a very respectful way. However, you would start with, what about 20%? So you start with your demand. You don't dance around.